us all together. Lord, we gather in your name as children of a sovereign God. Forever we proclaim, to God be all glory.
Good morning. How you doing? It is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. Welcome to episode 634 of the Thinking Theologian as we continue our journey through the scriptures. So today's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little more personal today. It's going to be a little bit longer than I'm planning, but to kind of give the context of things, I felt like this personal story today aligned very well with the reading. And so this is why I'm going to tell it. So I won't be vague on purpose, but just know this can be a very personal story. Talking about some things I've been through, things that have happened. So today we read Joshua chapter 9 through 11. The title of today is Do What's Right Even When It's Not Easy. The focal scripture is in Joshua 9:26, and this is what it says. It says, this is what Joshua did to them. He rescued them from the Israelites, and they did not kill them. So Joshua ended up doing something the right way because he made a promise, even though he was deceived and treated wrongly, but he still had his character and did what he was needed to do. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So being the bigger person is difficult. At times, it means you have to make very difficult decisions that often go against your own self-interest. It even means not telling details about topics and conversations that could cause damage to a multitude of people. For most of my life, I only experienced this on a very small scale. Unfortunately, a few years ago, I had to walk through this personally. The journey has been difficult, especially since my reputation has taken a hit because of deceitful people. And I'm going to kind of go more in detail about that in a little bit. So in today's reading, we see this scenario play out with Joshua and the Israelites. They were deceived by their neighbors and convinced that they were a group of people who needed help. In this conversation, the Israelites promised not to harm them or destroy them. They promised to look out for them and give them resources, even give them jobs. Later, it was revealed to Joshua and the leaders that they were deceived. Instead of destroying these enemies, they kept their word with them and gave them jobs. And so they're like, hey, we're from far away off people. We need help. We don't need to be destroyed. We don't need all these things that happen to us. And they're like, okay, we see you, we're going to look out for you. We're not going to destroy you. We're going to keep our work with you. And then it was revealed that they were a people who did not tell the truth, and they easily could have been destroyed. Actually, the wording that these people use is like, do with us what you want. But Joshua ended up keeping the word that they were given, and that's what they did. Joshua kept his word. He was honest, and he did what was right, even if it was against their own self-interest. And so that's very important to see here. Of what's happening in Joshua's life and in the life of the Israelites. So Joshua had a choice to make. He could keep his word or destroy people who lied to him and the Israelites. In an act of high character, Joshua chose what was good and right. This had to sting because he knew there were people there that possibly could cause him harm. But he was like, no, I gave my word, so I'm going to continue to do what I told you I was going to do. So that had to sting, though. It also had to cause many doubts, like, why is this happening? But doing what is right can have that effect. When you make the right decision, it can be difficult when you have to stand up and have high character amongst the people who do not have high character. Other people's decisions cannot dictate the type of person you are, the type of character you have. So to go back to my situation I experienced a few years ago, I had to choose my character over vengeance, and I easily could have. And I wanted to. Numerous times I wanted to. Even now, there's opportunities where I want to, I don't. So I was at a place where I witnessed and seen many, where I witnessed and saw just many terrible things from a person in leadership. I mean, horrendous things. They would say horrendous things about most people behind closed doors. They would continue to talk about people that they say they cared about, they say they liked, and they were leading and trying to guide. And they would say one thing to their face, and they would absolutely destroy them behind closed doors. And I mean, personal, mean, and just quite frankly, hateful things about people. And it was not just a handful of people. people. It was a lot of people, and it almost happened almost every single day. Um, and so he would talk about them personally and how sorry they are as individuals. Then this person would tear apart the institution they were working at on a daily basis. The place we both worked at, this person would continually say how he didn't like the place he was at, how they didn't do anything, how they didn't pay him enough money, that they were too stupid to know what they were doing. I mean, it was consistently and constantly things like that. And so they would make comments about how the establishment didn't deserve him and how the community would never amount to anything because of his thinking. That, it was always something, always. He said he was the only hope the people in the institution had to survive. He was like, look, this is what it is. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. And if I wasn't here, everything would fall apart. Very arrogant and conceited, and just did not have a heart of a true leader, even though it portrays it at certain times. And that's what was so difficult. What you saw behind closed doors was one thing, but what was done in front of other people looked the part and even acted the part, sounded the part. Now, over the course of 2 years, I got tired of hearing this on a daily basis because it was happening all the time. Over these 2 years, this person also tried to bully me and intimidate me into submission. Because there were there were numerous times I would not go along with what they were saying. I would challenge what they were saying. And this person did not like it. So then they began to switch their tactics and stop talking about other people so much that I became the focal point, where this person called me, insubordinate. I said I want to do what I need to do, questioning why I had to think differently than other people. It was just a constant thing, and then began to try to create a narrative that made me the enemy, and he got people on his side to get there. But he tried to bully me, intimidate me. And I'm even going to tell you some of the things that this person did, because I would not go along with some of the things he wanted to do. He threatened to destroy my future, and even lied on several occasions concerning situations to gain support. I caught on this person numerous lies about things that happened. So what did I do? I resigned quietly. I told a group of people just a little bit of how he treated me. So when I resigned, I went to a group of people and said, look, this is exactly what he did. Actually wrote an 8-page letter detailing almost all of it, the personal interactions I had with him, and just threw a line in there about how he talked about and treated other people in the institution. So I mentioned that briefly, but I kept it mainly about me, and it took 8 pages. And that was just a drop in the bucket of what he was trying to do to me. So I left quietly. I was like, look, this group's going to handle it, do it the right way. They ended up didn't handle it the right way. They actually ended up covering things up. But that's a whole other conversation. But I left quietly because to tell the truth publicly, what my flesh wanted to do would have hurt and destroyed many people. Because if I would have said things publicly and been very specific about who he spoke about, what he said, what was going on, what was happening, would have hurt many people in that institution, and also hurt many other people who didn't need to see the ugly side of how this could be done. And I did not want to be the person to do that. And so the damage that would have happened was not worth my own selfish vindication. So I had to do the right thing, even though I knew it would cost me personally. So I tell the story because I had to do what was right, even though, again, it would cost me personally. I've learned that the truth is yet to be told of why I resigned. Not yet one thing over the past 2 years of why I left. Not one true statement's been made. Not one about what's going on. And I've had to correct a few people. But I don't go out of my way doing it, even though at times I really want to. My character has been smeared by others to cover up the truth, where I've become the enemy and I'm like I was the problem, even though other people knew what was happening and how the whole institution, leadership knew what was going on, how it was happening even before I arrived, and yet they hid it and covered it up. That institution still doesn't know what really took place. And so blame has been shifted to hide the truth of this leader, and even the other people in leadership. I've even had numerous opportunities to attack the person and the institution because of their false statements, and I refuse to do it. Now, I've corrected outright the truth, but I have not told everything I know because it would cause damage. However, to do so means I would have to compromise my character and speak ill of a person in a place, and I'm just not doing it. to do that would violate Scripture, and I refuse to do that in my life. I'm not going to be like this person or the institution who did not do what was right. I'm going to do what is right, regardless of what they do, and that's the point of today. So I challenge you today to do what is right, even if it costs you your reputation in the short term. And that's what I had to do. There's been numerous times I've wanted to absolutely just go to people and be like, you want to know what really happened? This is what it was. And what you think you know is untrue. People have lied to you and not done what is right. And so the truth will always be revealed. That's where I have to get, where you need to get. So the manner in which truth is revealed is more important. It's not my job to be the whistleblower and to do all that. God will take care of that in the long run, and the truth will come out at some point. So you need to be a person with high character, even when everyone around you compromises theirs. And that's what happened in the situation. And that was very not easy situation to be in with what was going on. So that's what I want you to see today. And so I tell the personal story, not for you to feel bad for me, feel sorry for me, but to let you know that you have to do things sometimes that are difficult to do the right thing, because doing the right thing matters more than what your feelings want to do. Because Joshua easily could allow his feelings when he was deceived to go destroy a group of people, but he kept his word because his word mattered. And I'm keeping my word to the word of the Lord, because he's asked me not to do things a certain way and handle things a certain way. And I'm trusting him to handle it, even though at times it's difficult, which even means at times my character has been assassinated. And again, if people really knew the truth, people really knew, if I exposed details, specific comments made about specific people, how this person viewed things, and the institution and individuals in leadership of this institution, that this person wouldn't have a job. I mean, it was that bad and that horrendous of a situation, because this person violated every aspect of leadership that they're called to do. And so that's important to see that. But it's not my job to expose the details. I'm going to allow God to do that, even though it means that me having high character makes me look like I did something wrong, even though that's not what happened. And even people today avoid me sometimes. And I pray for opportunities to correct falsehoods when it arises and when it arises appropriately. But God's blessed in me being there. And again, I realized in this situation that God did not allow me to go through it. He got me out of it. And even though people don't see that, and even though people still have not dealt with the truth, and they're going to be held accountable for that, because when you hide things up, there's always consequences, one way or the other. So that's the point for today. Have high character, even when other people don't. Do the right thing, even when it's not easy. And the right thing for me in that situation was to not be a gossip and to attack other people, to follow the Lord and trust him, what he's going to do in his timing, because his timing will be the perfect timing to reveal everything that happened. So trust the Lord no matter what you're going through. Do the right thing, even when others around you don't. And even when things are said and done that are untrue, keep the faith, keep what you're doing, and keep your word. So thank you for being here today. Tomorrow we'll read Joshua chapter 12 through 15.